Stranglehold is a forceful word, but then it takes emotive terminology to do justice to American players' current dominance of golf's majors. All 4 trophies are in the hands of Stateside stars, a scenario last witnessed 14 years ago, and should the trend continue at Carnoustie, where the Open begins today, it will be the 6th major in succession to be won by an American. The last time that happened, the Falklands War had just finished and Michael Jackson was about to release Thriller. Read more. Sam Torrance, open conditions could give Tiger Woods an edge. This is no overnight revolution, though. Since Rory McIlroy won back-to-back majors at the Open and the US PGA Championship in 2014, which feels like an awfully long time ago, Americans have won 11 of the 14 biggest titles on offer. Such dominance has been unheard of since the early 2000s, when Tiger Woods was at his most prolific and somewhat skewed the figures. This time it has been more of a collective effort from Jordan Spieth, who defends the claret jug this week, Brooks Koepka, Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jimmy Walker, Patrick Reed and Zach Johnson. American dominance of majors is not a new thing, it has been that way since the 1920s, but it is all the more striking given that the leading tours have never been more diverse. For the 5-year spell from the start of 2010, it was pertinent to wonder when or even if it would return, as golfers from Europe and the rest of the world enjoyed a boom. During that period, players from the United States won 7 of the 20 majors, only 1 more than the total amassed by Northern Ireland, as McIlroy burst onto the scene. But sporting success tends to be cyclical, and the emergence of Spieth's generation has swung momentum emphatically to the other side of the Atlantic. Carnoustie's fairways are expected to be faster than the greens this week. Source: Getty. If a non-American is to end their streak, however, then the Open probably offers the best chance. It is the only major in which European winners outnumber those from the US, by 79 to 45. The majority of those wins for Europe came in the pre-war years, when it was an almost exclusively British affair, but even excluding that spell, the Open has been more equitably distributed. In the 4-major era, beginning in 1934 when the Masters joined the calendar, Americans have lifted the claret jug on 32 occasions. Europeans have won 23 times and players from elsewhere 22. As the only major held on this side of the pond, it holds an obvious advantage to European players. They are more accustomed to the nuances of the links courses on which it is staged, and that could be even more true this week, with Carnoustie's fairways unusually quick and conditions therefore even more alien to American golfers. This is links golf, but perhaps not as they know it. Of the leading European players, Justin Rose, McIlroy and Fleetwood boast the strongest credentials. World number 3 Rose is the highest-ranked non-American, has major winning experience from the 2013 US Open, and has finished in the top 10 at 6 more majors since. The Hampshire man has the complete game to cope with any conditions and a happy knack of rising to big occasions, although his record at the Open, 6th place in 2015 is his best result, is a little underwhelming. Justin Rose is among the most fancied European contenders. Source: Getty. Europe's golden boy McIlroy would have been a short-priced favorite 3 years ago, but his wildly inconsistent recent performances have dented his progress. Erratic putting marred down an otherwise strong showing at the Irish Open this month, and the feeling remains that he is tantalizingly close to rediscovering his irresistible best. The links golf on which he was raised might just be the trigger. Fleetwood is another who learned the game in gusty seaside conditions and holds the course record at Carnoustie, having shot 63 there in the Alfred Dunhill Links Championship last year. The Southport 27-year-old has built on his breakthrough 2017 campaign with strong showings at big events. He was 2nd at the US Open and 6th at the Players' Championship, and appears to be edging closer to a first major triumph. Pointing the most likely American winner this week is a riddle, owing to both the depth of talent and the recent results of some of the usual suspects. World number 1 Dustin Johnson tees off as the bookmaker's favorite, and with good reason. He has 2 wins already this year, was third at the US Open last month and has been top 10 at 8 of his last 13 majors, winning 1, the 2016 US Open. If there is a doubt about Johnson, it is whether his big hitting game suits conditions where iron play is expected to be decisive. Current US PGA champion Thomas might be considered the next cab off the US rank and showed form in European conditions when top 10 at the Open de France 3 weeks ago. He has enjoyed an extraordinarily prolific 18 months, although has only played the Open twice before, missing the cut last year and finishing outside the top 50 in 2016. Could this finally be the turn of perennial bridesmaid Ricky Fowler? He was second at the Masters in April, his third runner-up spot at a major and 7th top 5 finish in his last 18 tilts at one of the Big Four prizes. The 29-year-old has form in these parts too. He won the Scottish Open in 2015 and was 6th on his return to Gillane last week. Brooks Koepka won the most recent major, defending his US Open title. Source: Getty. Koepka also showed his pedigree in links conditions when defending the US Open in a treacherous Shinnecock Hills last month and, at 4th in the rankings, is in the form of his life. The same cannot be said of Spieth, who has endured a few wretched weeks of late, missing 2 of his last 3 cuts, including at the US Open. The Texan is the ultimate clutch player, however, as he showed with his sensational iron shot from the practice range to scramble back into contention on his way to hoisting the claret jug at Royal Birkdale a year ago. You would no sooner bet against another Spieth victory than you would on America's run ending.